She's always on the lookout for showcasing awesomeness, an imaginative problem solver who connects the dots between storytelling and business strategy. Rolly Arora is a seasoned communications professional with over 17 years of rich experience spanning across marketing and HR in providing end-to-end content strategy, business and talent branding solutions, PR, social media, industry awards, and event management, along with alumni, industry, and analyst relations. In her current role, she leads the branding and communications function for CDK Global India, and she has been associated with Deloitte, Coforge, NIIT Tech, and Value Labs in the past roles. She's a certified employer brand leader from EB College, Australia, and also currently pursuing her digital marketing and analytics certification from Indian School of Business, ISB, Hyderabad. So, folks, when we talk about brand, a brand is a personality that identifies a product, service, or a company, including a name, term, sign, symbol, or design. And not only that, brand also represents the relationships between customers, staff, partners, investors, and so on. So today, let us discuss employer branding strategies with the branding expert, Rolly. Rolly is known for elevating the employer branding at companies that she has worked for. This is the Guiding Voice podcast series, TGV, for a better future. This podcast is to help professional students, IT employees, and entrepreneurs to shape their careers. So, folks, in case if you haven't rated and reviewed our podcast, request you to provide your rating and leave a candid review. Because every rating and review will motivate us to bring in more and more useful content to you. This is your host, Naveen Samala, and I have about 18 years of rich and diverse experience in the IT industry. In every episode, we interact with industry experts or thought leaders or academicians or coaches across the globe to drive some insightful conversations that will help each one of you learn some amazing stuff. Also, we share an interesting trivia or a fun fact towards the end. And folks, you'll acquire more knowledge per every minute by tuning into TGV than any other podcast in this space. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today, we're going to discuss a topic, employer branding. And we're pleased to have Rolly part of TGV's journey in shaping the careers and lives of millions across the globe. Rolly, welcome to TGV. It's been a long wait, but we made it today.
Thank you, Naveen. Excited to be part of the show, and I'm very pleased to see your success on TGV.
Thank you so much. Now let's roll on, Rolly. Can we talk briefly about your career journey and top 3 things that have helped you achieve your current position?
Absolutely, Naveen. Delighted to share whatever journey I've had so far on the communications front. So, as you all introduced me, I have had the pleasure of working across some top technology brands and being fortunate to work with top leaders on building the employer branding along with the corporate communications end-to-end marketing strategy. And for me, the top 3 mantras of success, whatever bits I have learned along the path, I would summarize them into 3 C's, which is consistency, collaboration, and creativity. So absolutely, you have to keep showing results. You have to be consistent, whatever roles you play, whatever journey you are having, and you have to be creative best at it because everybody likes to see something new, something a brand which is very creative and which is appealing to the audience at all times. And absolutely collaborating across the organization with different stakeholders, both internal and external, will bring you the results that you're aiming for, is what I think.
Wow. Consistency, creativity, and collaboration. So those are the 3 mantras. Wonderful. So now let's talk about core of today's topic, Rolly. How do we define this employer branding in simple terms?
Absolutely. So, as you can see, I'm really passionate about this topic. So, employer branding is very close to my heart because it is the humane side of branding, I would say. So, I've been fortunate to work across on branding for products, organization, businesses, marketplace, customers. But employer branding is the people focused side of branding. So, employer branding, in very simple terms, as you asked me, is putting the heart of the organization in front of the audience. So it is a heady mix of culture, people, which is a mix of learning, innovation, how you care, employee well-being, which is become very pertinent, especially in today's times, right? So it is basically the employee value proposition that an organization offers to the people that work for. So obviously it is putting in front of the prospective people that you want to attract, the talent that you seek. It's putting and showcasing the best of the organization, what it has to offer to its people in the market. Obviously, we use a lot of different marketing mix, channels, and positioning, targeting strategies to attract the talent towards the organization.
No, you mentioned about attracting the right talent, and today we are in the era of great resignation, right? And how do you think this employer branding is going to help in attracting the right talent in this era of great resignation?
Yes, of course. So, in today's era, the great resignation is something everybody is talking about, right? And employer branding is just the right strategy and the right tool and the right positioning that will help you seek the right talent and not only attract them, but also retain them. So, really talk about employees' perspective, right? Because if you want to retain them, I think employee pride is a very important aspect that plays on people when they work for an organization. If I really take pride in the organization that I work for, I am fortunate to work closely with them, see the authenticity in the brand that they are putting out in the marketplace, be it in what kind of care they take for people, the policies, process, and how the HR takes care of the every employee and be a part on their career journey and success. So if you are closely connected to the organization and you feel lot of pride in the brand that you work for, you feel a lot of bonding, and then you will go a step further and you will also become effective brand ambassadors, and the word of mouth spreads like wildfire. So more than an organization and HR, when they work on employer branding, I think it is the employees that they work for the organization. If they have good things to say to their network, that makes really a good cut. So that really plays a big role. And if you are already aware of the organization, if you're already aware of the brand that works in the marketplace, you'll be very happy to look forward to joining an organization. In fact, you will aspire to be one of that organization's employees, right?
Yeah, I concur with you. Like I still remember my days with CDK Global because the kind of experience that the company has offered right from day one, and still we are engaged. Like if you have recently featured our story on the alumni newsletter, and also kudos to that. In fact, I miss CDK Global. I want to confess here. And similarly, I work for General Electric and remember each and every day of those 4,000 days that I spent with General Electric, the kind of value proposition that they have given to the employees as such. Yeah, I think this plays a very critical role. And now let's talk about the talent. Okay, when it comes to talent, it is not just that we are going to hire everybody, right? We want the right talent to build the right solutions to the business, right? And how does this branding help in attracting the right talent? Especially we have too much of competition in today's world with regard to startups offering huge pay packages, and so is the case with some of the established organizations that are also not compromising in terms of offering huge CTCs and all. So how do we attract right talent with proper employer branding? Yeah.
Absolutely. As you rightly said it, right? So when you feel bonded with an organization, the connections stay with you for life. As you mentioned, some of the organization that you work for. So you remember the care and the experience that you had at that organization. And compensation is obviously an important element, but I would say that is not all. And a lot of research and surveys in the COVID times that were done actually clearly show that, compensation is definitely not the leading motivator or the indicator which attracts the talent and have them stay on. So I think it is a complete package. And also, I think we have to recognize and realize that it is not definitely one size fits all. So it is different strokes for different folks. That's why in employer branding also we follow a strategy of segmenting, targeting, and positioning, because you have to identify that which employee gets motivated by what aspect. So there are a lot of different elements which attracts the talent that you want to seek, right? It can be work-life balance, it can be fair pay, it can be inclusion, it can be your focus on diversity, it can be your social impact, what kind of innovation learning culture, how much your leadership is invested in the people and genuinely care for their growth, and also provide an environment of and culture of psychological safety. So I think all these elements comprehensively play a big role. So when you want to attract the right talent, obviously first you have to identify what is the right motivator for that kind of talent that you want to see. And then you identify what kind of channels they mostly follow to understand where the industry is going, and if they want to follow a particular organization, what are the things that will attract them. And then you come up with customized campaigns to attract them towards the culture by showcasing your authentic brand by using your real-time employees and sharing their genuine case studies and success stories to them, that will really appeal to them, that will strike a chord to them. So I think that is very important, understanding the pulse and then building up campaigns which really attract that pulse. That will help.
Wow. I think you covered a lot of aspects, not just the pay part of it, the diversity, inclusion, and the belongingness
Yes,
further
of
into the
course.
organization. That is also going to play a critical role. And now it reminds me of my CDK days. Okay, you started this CrossJam initiative. Okay, where I was captain of the green team, and we had a huge
Wonderful
competition
days. Yes.
amongst amongst various teams and a healthy competition. In fact, we were looking forward for the monthly table. Okay, in terms of who is going to top the chart and all. Likewise, it was very engaging and all. And recently you kicked off this alumni newsletter and alumni group on LinkedIn, right? So can you talk a bit about these initiatives? Why are you doing this? And probably you can talk in length about what are these initiatives about, so that our audience can better understand about it.
Of course, Naveen, I would love to, because all of them are very close to my heart and they strike the chord of creativity that I spoke about earlier. So I am always on the lookout for showcasing awesomeness, right? And I think these platforms really help you bring to the forefront what is the unique value proposition that an organization has to offer to the employees. And also a very important element which is coming to the forefront now, that gone are the days when we used to think of employees as just as people or workers or resources in your organization, right? I think employees are, if not more, they are equally important as customers and other stakeholders in the organization, right? So if I think all HR and people leaders now have to don the hat of thinking like a marketer. And you have to attract your employees and come up with creative campaigns that will appeal to your employees. And it is no more a push strategy, it is more of a pull. You have to make it an attractive package and make it very innovative and creative and attract them towards the kind of platforms and programs that you're running. So some of the programs that you mentioned about earlier, so I would start with maybe CrossJam Beyond Work. It is an innovative employee engagement platform that we recently launched at CDK. It's been running successfully for the last 2 years. So it strikes the chord of different strokes for different folks that I spoke about earlier. And under this umbrella, we actually allow all the employees to live their passion at the workplace. So we come up with engaging contests around fun, sports, different kinds of fun and frolic events, different kinds of healthy competition and games that allow everybody to display their leadership skills and connect across the organization, break the silos, and have a healthy environment which is beyond work. You live what you really like at the workplace. So you don't need to leave your second identity at home and come to work. You can bring your whole selves to work. So there's also an element of inclusion that is a very important part of this initiative. So it has been really enjoyed by everybody across the organization, and leadership has also played a very critical role in making sure that we are successful. Along with that, I think we also want to stay connected for life, not only during your tenure at CDK. Maybe before joining an organization, we really touch base with the candidates, and even after you decide to move on career journey, right? We want to stay connected with them. That is where we have formulated this corporate alumni program called CDK Circle, where we invite our alumni along with our extended families for our annual convergence event, which is a family day full extravaganza of fun, entertainment, and games. And they become a part of the celebration, because we strongly feel that at some part of the other point of time, you have played a role in the success of the organization wherever we are today. And at any later point of time, if you want to relook and look at joining CDK back, we have this rehire programs which we call CDK Comeback, where you can look at connecting with our hiring team and see if there are any open opportunities for you. And we welcome the added experience and the added skill sets that you have added across the journey. Not only that, if you want to come in and have a guest speaker as part of a learning series at CDK, we mostly welcome as an external guest speaker all our alumni, and we want really them to be the brand ambassadors and also refer people from their network, because you have closely watched the culture and how the organization has been going to. So all these initiatives, I think, really help us stay connected to the employees that we work for. And not only that, but I think across the organization, even after your long-term career journey. So, and we also feature our rehire success stories as part of this platform. So that's where it is.
Fabulous stuff. I see some organizations connecting with their past employees or the alumni, but not to an extent what CDK is doing so rigorously. And Really feeling proud that I work for a company like CDK.
Thank
Wonderful
you.
initiatives,
Same
and
here.
keep it up. And I'm sure you are going to come up with a lot of creative stuff. And during the initial part of this conversation, you mentioned the HR should be a marketer as well. And in fact, I see a lot of creative juices flowing in you and your team always, right? Where do you get that creativity from, Rolly? Can you share some tips?
Absolutely. I think I'm not the kind of person who will, sit in a learning program and have a certification done just to be on those. I think I really believe a lot of self learning, and I do a lot of self browsing on the net, social media scouting to see what our competitors are doing in this space. Where are the companies heading, what the future of work is looking like. And I think at CDK, I am fortunate to have the opportunity to be a part of a lot of industry associations like name body, well-renowned bodies like NASCOM, AmCham, ICIA, and all of that. So I think that gives me the opportunity to stay connected with the industry, see where the benchmark is going, and track what competition is doing, and track what employees and people that we want to attract, what are they looking for, and that helps me in turn come up with creative campaigns and strategies that will. Help them stay on and help them stay motivated. So maybe you need to think ahead like a marketer, as I said, right? So I think HR's job is obviously to keep people happy and keep them engaged and be responsible for the long term career growth and success of the organization. But at the same time, I think you need to be appealing and be attractive to our employer at the same time, to all the employees that work for us. So I think thinking like a marketer is something not only HR, I would say everybody in the organization, starting from the top leadership to the enabling functions, everybody needs to think of as a marketer. So it's great to have a lot of innovative policies and procedures which are people focused, but I think it is equally and more important to communicate it in the right way to the audience so that they appreciate all the great stuff that is being done. So that is where I think most of my efforts go in, and I work closely with all these functions to allow that to happen.
So two things that stuck with me. One is be always on the lookout for something, okay, in the industry, and don't compromise. Second thing, think like a marketer. So wonderful conversation so far, Rolly. I think let us spice up this episode, wherein I'm going to kick off a quick rapid fire round. You can answer the questions very briefly, that it will lighten up the mood of our audience. Are you ready for that?
Absolutely.
Excellent. All right. So let's move on with the first rapid fire question. Given a chance, would you time travel to past or future?
Definitely future. And I think I would like to know how the organization set up in a solar space constellation looks like. I think that is where the future is going.
Yeah, I think with this Virgin Atlantic as well as Blue Origin making their entry into the space industry and all,
That can be
and
the next thing after hybrid, I think.
absolutely, I'm curious as well. All right, so let me move on to my next question. What would you do if you won a $1 billion lottery, Rolly?
I think I had this long term dream of setting up a food tech restaurant chain. And I think that is my retirement plan. So obviously, I can plan an early retirement and go ahead and set up my dream restaurant.
Good luck on that.
Thank you.
All right, so let me move on to my next one. What is one random skill that you would like to learn?
Would definitely be to be very politically correct. I think that is very much needed, especially in the profession that I am in. And sometimes I have the of speaking my heart out, and that doesn't land the right way. So I think being politically correct is very important. I would like to learn it at the same time putting your point across the table.
Okay. All right. So here comes my next one. What is one question for which you didn't find an answer so far?
Definitely Amitabh Bachchan. He is my favorite actor. I really want to know the secret of his ever glowing and ever young, seasoned actor that he is. And even his own son is struggling to compete with him in a hard way. So I want to know the secret of his ever youth personality.
Quite interesting. Okay, great rapid fire so far. And let me fire the last word out of the rapid fire. So, Rolly, what will be one message that you like to give to your own younger version?
That would definitely be, choose your battles wisely, because I have learned it the hard way. You anything that drains you out of your mental energy or emotional peace, I think that is not worth the effort. So you really try to ignore all the distractions and stay focused on your path. That will take you a long way ahead.
Excellent. All right, so this has been a fascinating rapid fire round. With that, let me flip back to the mainstream and ask you one final question for today's conversation. So, Roli, you have garnered 17 years of rich experience in the industry, and you have strategized the employer branding, and you have proven yourself successful. So, what will be your one piece of advice to those aspiring to make it big in their careers like you?
Sure, Naveen. So, my 2 cents would be that you should really start early, stay focused, and even fail fast, and reinvent yourself, and with the reinvented version of yourself, and celebrate success. Not only the milestones but the journey itself. So I would say fail fast and start reinventing, and can enjoy the journey as much as the milestone.
Oh, very interesting. And thank you for the valuable advice. So, Roli, this has been a fantastic conversation. And thank you so much for being part of our journey in shaping the lives and careers of millions across the globe. And it was an absolute pleasure to host you on TGV.
Same here, Naveen. It was fabulous talking to you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, likewise. So, folks, before we move on to the trivia section, here is a request to all of you. In case if you have loved this conversation just like I did, request you to share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who can benefit from TGV. Thank you so much in advance. With that, let's hop on to the trivia segment of today's episode. And folks, today we spoke about employer branding, right? And LinkedIn is one platform, okay, which is actually became core to the employer as well as employee branding. So let me talk a bit about LinkedIn. You know, what is the number of people that are hosted on LinkedIn? I know you may be thinking, but LinkedIn has overall 675 million users from across the world. And out of which more than half of them are monthly active users. And in fact, LinkedIn has seen significant growth in the last 18 to 20 months as the pandemic kicked in, and more people have started creating their profiles and sharing knowledge with the rest of the world. And if we talk about the traffic from various countries and all, about 38.6% of the LinkedIn traffic comes from the countries like the United States. And however, India has about 17% of the traffic that is getting to LinkedIn. And likewise, LinkedIn's popularity is growing a lot. And in fact, it has also become a platform where hiring is happening more than any other job portals. So likewise, in case if you haven't created your LinkedIn profile, I'm sure most of you might have already been, but in case if you haven't been there, request you to go ahead and subscribe yourself and be active on LinkedIn. It's not only about consuming, but also about generating the content. And it is going to open up a gamut of opportunities. You never know. You might land in a dream job, or you might connect with somebody whom you have been aspiring to meet. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. There is more in store, folks. Stay tuned. Take care. Be safe. We're signing off for today. See you all in the next episode with another wonderful guest and cover an amazing topic.